Yeah, what's up?
Hey, not much. What's up with you?
Um, a little worried about all this, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I get that. Being worried about your friend. I understand that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just this is like so I don't want to I just want to be clear. I'm not saying like you're uniquely like responsible for this or anything like that. I get worried about this kind of thing because like the okay, so like this drama has sort of gone up and down um over the past year. I mean, it's basically a year old at this point, right?
Yeah.
Um, and basically for a while we were about 3 months just nothing, um,
Yeah.
and then little came out, kind of went back down to zero. Little came out, went back to zero, and then I guess I heard about this thing that happened on Zerka's show last night or whatever, and my worry is that people are going to start hopping onto this. Just I don't really know what the motivation is for doing all these streams, but like I think this is going to spiral into just a lot more harass. So like even just for some context, I mean like over the past year, throughout the year, um, Anna's had to deal with like people like constantly messaging her and like
Mm.
telling her she's a fucking crazy person and all this stuff. And the my worry is the bigger this blows up again, the more and more harm this is going to cause to her. Like she was already upset about this yesterday, obviously. Um, and I don't know. This kind of thing just
Right.
this should just
So I understand what you're saying, but it seems like at what happened a couple of days ago, Anna was actually the one who brought it up first, and whenever she brings it up, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are looking for a reason.
hmm. So
Sorry, to hate Destiny.
yeah,
So
and I want to be super clear about this. Um, number one, I'm perfectly willing to like look a little bit more into the Zerka stuff. I kind of have my own life outside of all this stuff, so I don't really have all the context for that. I just um I just started getting messages from Destiny viewers like, "Oh, like you need to do this. Anna's crazy. She's gonna kill herself. You need to do all that." Like they keep getting messages like this, and I know that I don't know the context of what happened on the Zerka show and like how this stuff came up. I just know that it's like starting to blow up again, and I just
yeah,
worry about people piling
I
on and like,
understand. I understand 100% you being worried, but I think it's
yeah,
also fair. I think it's also fair for Destiny's friends to be worried as well,
for sure.
because he's going to get a lot, and also he has a son, and because he has all these people who hate him and weaponize whatever they can against him and use it as justification to threaten him and threaten his family. I feel like I understand why his friend would send me this video for me to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what I would say is number one, um, there is a huge discrepancy between the power relationship here between Destiny and Anna. Like I'm not like just I'm just gonna set the like the fact of the matter of like what happened with their relationship aside for a second. There's a huge power differential here, right? So
Well,
like if
not necessarily because even if she might be a smaller streamer than him, like significantly, like she might be a fraction of what he is. Still, I would say that because Destiny has so many haters because of like anti fans essentially because of the
yeah.
nature of what he does, right? Because he argues with people, he has a lot of anti fans. So it's very easy, I'm pretty sure, to mobilize that base of anti fans against him.
So there's a couple things. Number one, I feel like this needs to go without saying. I'm a fan of Steven, right? So like
Yeah,
I've watched all his
yeah,
shit and stuff. So like I understand the exact thing you're talking about.
yeah.
Um, but I would note that if the way that this would work is that the internet would have to take Anna seriously for her to whip people up into a mob. No one in this space thinks that she has a legitimate claim against Steven. Like everybody already thinks she's
It's
crazy.
not
So how
about
could
it's not about other streamers though, right? It's about like crazy community members who already hate Steven and would be mobilized by it.
which community that hates Steven that take
Well, it's
what
not
like
a specific streamer community, right? Like every streamer has like anti fans, and I'm pretty sure Steven has more anti fans than most, right?
yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. I just don't see anti-fans of Steven saying, "Look at Anna. This is proof that Steven's a bad person." I've
Well,
never
it's
seen that
another
happen.
thing to add onto the list, right?
I'm just saying I don't think it's ever happened. And what the problem is that what happens here is that like basically what's going to happen is this is going to get blown up, right? There's going to be a not insignificant portion of Destiny's audience that's going to get really pissed off at Anna. They're going to go after Anna, and then she's just going to get dogpiled for the next however the fuck long this goes on. You understand? Like that's my concern is just directly with the impact that this is going to have on this
Yeah,
person.
I
And like,
understand. But he also, I mean, I don't see why it's fair for her to bring this up, for her to create this wave of people, especially because he is a public figure and
yeah,
people will automatically focus on him. I don't think it's fair for her to kind of kick this up and then him not being able to respond because he does have like a child, right? He does
yeah,
have
he
like
does. Yeah.
partner,
Can,
you know.
can you explain something to me just so I understand? Because like I said,
Yeah.
I have a life outside this, so I just haven't been able to
Yeah.
keep up with all this stuff. Can you understand to me like what context in which like this stuff or started breaking out the other day on Zerka's show, so I can understand what's going
Yeah,
on here?
I do believe, honestly, I do believe out of all of this, I do think Circa is the main one at fault here for even bringing it up because he likes to manufacture drama. But
Okay. So
essentially,
Zerka brought up the topic with her while
I'm
she was on
pretty
that panel.
sure he brought it up in relation or something. He continued to poke at the thing and pretty much made Anna cry for like 5 hours. It was stupid.
Oh,
So, but I mean, he did it while under the guise of like being supportive, right? And then he would flip on it, and then he would flip back. You know, it was really weird. But essentially, yeah, I think she got upset actually at me because she somehow brought up DGGers and said that they're all like sociopaths, and I said, you know, I don't think it's fair to like I don't think it's fair to like characterize an entire group like this without really knowing, you know, like obviously there are going to be members of the community who are toxic as fuck and just, but it's, you know, usually very few members of that community who are toxic who do that kind of shit. And you know, if that you know, even with that, like you wouldn't still make a prescription on an entire group of people, right? Like we could even we could even look at this from like a racial perspective, right? Like we make this argument in debates all the time, just because some people in a population do something like commit a crime doesn't mean that all of them are that way, right?
hmm
So I think it it so I said that to basically I said just essentially that, you know, just because this happened doesn't mean that they're all crazy, they're all abusers. But I think she got really upset at me for that, and she started messaging me. And I, because I'm in this panel, I don't pay attention to Discord messages too
Right. Yeah.
often,
Yeah.
unless it's like a bunch of them in a row or something. But so, and then she got upset because I didn't respond, and she said, you know, why haven't you responded? I'm like, I don't know all this stuff. I'm not going to base it off of like whatever 3 messages you sent me, especially when I'm on a panel and we're talking about other things. And then Zerka, I think at that point said something about Destiny's community or whatever that it, you know, whatever. And then Anna, she, sorry, my brain.
No,
Then
you're fine.
Anna got really upset about that, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so like just to be clear, I don't know enough about like I'm not gonna if she said that like all DGG is terrible or whatever, like I obviously don't know that I agree with that, but like the thing that I would say is that she has very like frequently um over the past year or so just been consistently sort of like thrown like random messages, DMs constantly. I've got a few of them from people. Um just consistently insisting that she's a crazy person, consistently like doing weird things about trying to say that they need to go after her career. Um, and so regardless of if you know, I wouldn't say it's not like a ton. It's not like all of DGG is doing this, right?
Yeah.
But it is like enough people to where she constantly feels like she has to deal with
Yeah,
people
and you know
sending
what?
her messages about this.
I actually bet, I will bet you that a lot of the times when you have these haters who are making accounts and sending messages, I often think that it's like one person or a couple of people who make a lot of accounts to
There,
harass
there,
one
there was,
person.
there was,
Yeah.
there was, yeah, there was at least one person that I for a fact know of made multiple accounts. There was a
Yeah.
guy who was particularly
It's
obsessed
super
who,
fucked too because those types are the ones who make the accounts, you know, just to send messages are really really fucking toxic.
yeah,
Like you can't help yourself. You have to make more accounts. Yeah, I totally get that. And I understand, you know, feeling like your feelings have been invalidated. That's you know, nobody wants to feel like that.
mhm,
So yeah, I totally understand what you're saying there. But
mhm,
but it, you know, still, I think it's fair for another group to, not the other group, like another party, right, in this conflict to respond, especially if they have been constantly bothered by this, you know, constantly bothered by this accusation, right? And just can't seem, even after apologizing multiple times, just can't seem to get the other party to move on, right? So
yeah, and so just I'm just gonna give like just some stuff. I know that no one in chat cares about this. I know everybody's calling me a cuck and simple, like whatever. I don't care. Like this is my friend. Like I just don't care what chat says.
yeah,
I'm just gonna say like a couple things because like I'm speaking to you and I'm sure that you're more reasonable than chat. So, um, I would just say that like part of the issue here, and I'm not gonna say like I'm sure Anna would even say at a certain point like she like there's a certain level in which it would be better if she could just like move on from this because it would be easier for her. I just there is some stuff that I think is important to realize that basically what walking away from this without saying anything feels like in this situation is that she has to never address things that she's being unfairly characterized as by like a huge chunk of this small community we're in. Um, so essentially, it would take like just her just swallowing that pill, right? Which is really difficult for a person to do. Like, and you could say that like, well, it's not fair for her to think that or whatever. I'm just saying for her, it feels like almost an impossible pill to swallow that just this huge section of the internet just thinks she's an actual insane person.
I think
Um,
they would forget about it. You know, like actually, people are when it comes to audiences, when you like look at if you look at like any type of scandal in media, right?
mhm.
For the most part, like if you leave it around alone, you don't say anything about it. People do forget pretty quickly, you know, and then people come
Yeah,
back all the time, and you know, and have successful careers, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I see what you're saying, and I think also like I think part of the issue for Anna is that she keeps expecting to get some closure that is never going to happen. I mean, there's a fundamental difference in how her and Destiny understand the situation
yeah,
as it came out, and there's like a fundamental difference in the expectations that they had. So I think that any expectation of closure on her end is literally impossible, you know. So
yeah. I mean, and I've said to her that I don't think she's ever going to get what she wants from Destiny. I mean, I've said that to her.
yeah,
I was simply simply saying that that's the feeling that she's having to deal with. I'm not saying that like necessarily it's the case that the audiences would just move on and move on to the next drama or whatever. I think that might be true. Um, I'm just saying that there's a feeling that's there for her that feels like an injustice has occurred that is essentially unremediable, and it's going to be hard for her to figure out
yeah,
how to
yeah,
process that. And well, if for people that remember like the conversation that I had with her and Steven a year ago or whatever, at the end of that, I mean, one of the things that I said was that I think that the best way to try to process it was away from all of this with a therapist or something like that. It's just things get complicated when they keep sort of like spewing out into the public.
Yeah, but he's been trying to move on, like
Yeah, and to
Destiny's
be, and to be fair,
100%.
and to be fair to Steven, he has been. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna pretend. I'm not gonna pretend like. I think. I think yesterday was a or whatever this thing happened was different than things have been because I think from what I understand, Steven did end up in the call. Is that correct, or was it
Yeah, he
just
joined because yeah, he ended up in the call later after she'd been talking about him for a
right?
bit, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
he tried to leave, then had to come back because she would bring him up again, then tried to leave and would have to come back. So,
yeah. And
yeah.
and I want to like I I want to be careful here. Like I think it's like I from what I understand, Anna was very upset about this situation. I don't blame Destiny for feeling like he needed to say something when she's on the panel talking about him. I'm just to be clear, I'm
Well, I
not
mean,
saying
he's being maligned in front of over a
I
thousand viewers,
I
right?
I understand if she's talking on a public platform, I understand that he would want to get his side across on a public platform on the panel. Like I'm
Well,
not
if he's being called an abuser, right? Like this is like a very heavy accusation. It's not just any kind of accusation being thrown out there. It's the abuser, and like when men especially are given that label, right, or that label is thrown at them, it's very hard for them to recover from that.
yeah, no, I understand that. Like I'm just what we call it. I was trying to remember
Yeah,
my
I understand that you're trying to portray, but like also if you do take a look, if Destiny was a girl and Anna was like Ando, or I don't know what his name, but anyways, um,
Mando?
yeah, his name is Ando. I don't know if Anna was Ando and Destiny was Destiny the girl. Sorry. um, no, chat, it's Ando. Okay. So Destiny is Destiny, and Anna becomes Ando, right? And you've got somebody who's sending 20 messages and then getting blocked, and then changing the platform, sending 20 messages and then getting blocked and changing the platform. And then a year after all this stuff, after Destiny the girl has apologized publicly at least a couple of times, right? Ando continues to bring up Destiny the girl's relationship with him, and continues to bring it up on panels. Any panel he goes on, we would look at this and say it's harassment, right? I've had something similar like this happen to me, where like a dude, I didn't even have any type of relationship with this dude. He would just, anytime he was on something, he would talk about me, and he would say really, really derogatory things towards me, and really
Mhm.
it's not the same as being called an abuser, but he would say, like, for example, he said that I called Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, a pedophile. Like, that's what he would say about me. He would, like, anytime he got on a panel, and this is in front of a bunch of like fundamentalist Muslims, right? And so
Mhm.
that was very distressing for me,
Yeah.
so, because I'd argue with these people, so it was very distressing for me. So like, for if you take that same kind of situation, and there's like a dude who's harassing a girl and calling her something that's very hard to, a label that's very hard to get off once it's been thrown at you. Yeah, I don't know. I completely understand why he would feel that way. So,
Yeah, and I want to be clear, like I'm not saying I don't understand Steven's perspective at all, but and I'm not going to get too in the weeds about like the specifics of what happened because my intention here is to not dig this up anymore. My only intention with coming on is just to be concerned about the effect that this is going to have on her life, and how much pain this is going to cause her. And yeah, it's so I just my thing is just like I would remind people that this is a person, and like I'm not gonna say that you have to agree with everything, but like she's going like it's just a fact of the matter that she is going to get harassed over this, because this is blowing
yeah.
up again,
I
and it's
mean,
going to be a problem for her
is
personally.
I honestly think if she accepts that she is not going to get whatever she wants out of this, um, and she accepts that they have a fundamental difference in this, and never brings up Destiny again, this will probably go away. But if you talk about somebody, the issue is going to be brought up, and whatever accusations were flying are going to be painful. And I just don't think it's fair, right? That you're giving her all of, and I feel like I've been very charitable towards her too, but like I just don't think it's fair that that Destiny, the girl in this situation, as you're having it, would have to continue to deal with Ando forever, bringing up whatever happened between them.
Hmm. Yeah, and look, I mean, I understand the perspective that like he feels like is constantly got brought up, and then he feels like, and Stephen has said this himself that there's a problem with the fact that even when people are talking about it and he thinks that people should stop, he previously had said that the problem is that even if he tells people to stop, now more people have their eyes on it, and he feels like more people are going to go in her direction. So it puts him in a really weird spot trying to figure out how to fix this. Um, and I get that. Like I don't discount that. I'm just and I'm not saying that no, like he shouldn't say anything to her about that, but I just I'm just so like when I talk to her, like the more like so I think we were talking earlier today about. Oh, what's up, Dan? Is this Mr. Dan?
Yeah, it is.
What's
No,
up, brother?
I thought I'd come in here and kind of defend the honor of my friend a little bit, since it seems like you're just only really caring like. Well, I mean, I guess looking at the other side, I kind of see a victim and aggressor. I guess you see it in the other way, but I don't really particularly give a shit what the aggressor goes through when they constantly do stuff. I care about the victim personally. So, like, do you want to talk about that and where we have a fundamental disagreement in that front?
I think that any conversation with you would serve to make this infinitely worse, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to just dodge it completely, that's fine.
No, I'm comfortable. Look, I mean, the truth is that throughout this entire situation, since the beginning, you've made this worse in every possible way.
I think if my advice was followed on day one, we wouldn't be here. So for all the psychologists floating around in this world, it was me, the only person who actually had real actionable advice that could have avoided all of this bullshit. Everyone else is like trying to do all this other bullshit, look at it sideways. What should have just happened is they should have just broken contact. And that's on Steve too, because apparently he kept talking to her.
Yeah, from what I understand, he did. Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I mean, the agreement that I had tried to reach initially was to stop contact, right?
Sure. Listen, the situation we're in here, we're just talking about this situation. I'll keep
Okay.
it nice
Okay.
and simple, okay? So the problem, I think your complaint, is that Stardust is watching a video. And you're like, man, that sucks. I don't want to watch, or I don't want a video to be watched in front of all these people where my friend is looking not so hot. Yes?
No,
That's,
no. It's not. It's actually not about that at all. My concern is that the amount of harassment she's going to get afterwards. Like that's really. It's not really about her like saying like I don't know. I guess you're saying she's saying dumb stuff or something. I'm just
That's
no,
worried
no,
that it's
I
not
didn't,
gonna happen.
I didn't say that at all. I just said that you felt like it's not good for us to watch this video because it's not going to be good for her. She's not going to be happy as a result of us watching that, right?
It's not really about her being happy. I'm just worried the more that this gets amplified, the more harm it's going to cause her.
Can
That's
I?
all.
Okay. Now, this is not a comparable situation. Okay. I'm going to just stress that. Okay. But let's imagine that the situation was a little bit more polarized. Okay. So let's say it was a clear cut thing. So let's say like a fucking Cosby or a Weinstein type of thing, and you were friends with one of those persons. Do you think that that person has a right to kind of come in here and dictate what's happening at that point, or no?
Bill Cosby?
Yeah. So let's say that you were
No,
best
not
friends with
no, not Bill.
Bill Cosby, and everyone's coming in here, and we're about to watch a bunch of old interviews with him. You wouldn't be okay with that, right?
Bill Cosby, that seems like a pretty extreme example.
Well,
So
no, I did say it was. So I'm just trying to find out where the
yeah,
fucking
with Bill,
bar
yeah,
is.
for sure. With Bill, I mean, with Bill Cosby, I mean that's very different, obviously, and those differences like change the calculus on it.
Okay, so personally, I feel like if my friend is getting shit on in front of thousands of people, okay, and being made fun of in front of other people, and essentially saying he's an emotional abuser, he's abusive,
Hmm.
that there's all those things. How if you were friends with that person, how would you react? Would you be thinking about the person that's saying all these things, or would you be thinking about your friend?
Let's see. I guess it depends on the context.
I don't
But
really think it depends too much on the context.
wait. So like, can you explain the? So like, are you talking about like how would I feel about that person? Like if it was just like my friend, like in that situation, or are you talking about like what I would say publicly and all that stuff?
Okay, so again, kind of the situation we're talking about right now is if you have a friend and he's getting
Yeah.
publicly slandered or libeled or whatever, I forget one of those is written. But if that's happening and it's not like minor, like, oh, yeah, that guy's an asshole, he's a jerk, but like actual kind of stuff that could come back to him along the lines of, oh, he's abusive. How would you react to that if you felt that that was not the case and that this was being exploited for content on someone else's stuff?
I mean, obviously, if I felt all those things, I would be upset about it, right?
Yeah. So I think that's a lot of where. Okay, the next thing I'm going to ask you is
Uh-huh.
on general optics. Okay, if you had to take a poll, you think of everyone who watched all of Zerka's show and everyone who's watching this right now, and again, Zerka's. I'm going to tell you right now, people who watch Zerka's show not big fans of Destiny. Would you concur? Actually, I
I,
won't say
I
that's fine.
actually don't know anything
Well,
about
they're well,
Zerka.
that's fine, but they're not. Okay.
Okay.
So the question is, how do you think these people would feel about Anna? Do you think that a portion of them would feel like, oh yeah, she's in the right, Steve's being an asshole, or where do you think that would land?
With Zerka's audience,
Sure, with
I,
any.
I, I,
Let me default with any audience on Twitch.
I actually literally don't know because I don't know what was said. I don't know what happened. I didn't
Okay,
see that.
so for any of the past debates,
How do I think that people would interpret the past debates?
yes, like how do you think if there was a side where you choose a side that is more right versus less right, how do you think people would generally fall
The
after listening
average
to those?
the average viewer that like just is like watching them,
Yes.
they probably would be they would probably think, wow, this girl's really upset, and the guy's pretty calm and like seems like he's said like knows what he's talking about or something like that. That would probably be the like general public perception of the situation, right?
So you
Without
think
without
people would say, "Oh, wow, she's upset and he's calm." That would be the consensus that most people would draw from this.
Well, to be clear, I don't mean like that's literally all they would draw. I would just think that they would probably be like, wow, she's like unhinged or something like that, I guess, if like
I
she's
think that
really.
would probably be accurate. That most people would assume that for the past debates. That would be very clear. That would be kind of the most
That would be the assumption, sure,
that would
yeah.
be the most conservative thing that people would say. So you know the thing like Occam's razor, right?
Yeah, I know what Oxenfurter is.
Yeah. So what does Occam's razor say about this situation? Is there an elaborate ploy that's going on here that's like the man is keeping people down to make people feel a certain way about this situation and everything that's happening? Or is it the most likely outcome, which is what?
What are you suggesting? I think there's some sort of conspiracy going on with this, because that's not what I think.
I think that could be the only thing that you can possibly assume to even remotely explain any of this away whatsoever. Now, I know Steve has made his faults. I like yelled at him so much that he kept talking with Anna after this, and I said that was a horrible idea. And you should know, if you watch the VODs, that I was the one trying to break this up more than anyone else. Every time I've said anything, I said, "Stop fucking talking to each other. What are you doing?"
I heard you
Like
say that. Yeah, I understand that.
every time I said that. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what you expect to happen when things like this. He didn't bring this up, and in fact, you know what he's done? He's actively ignored it as hard as he fucking could publicly. You must have seen this.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So what is a man to do in this situation, Drew?
Well, I've already said, so okay, let me be perfectly clear. I've already said that I understand why Steven ended up on the Zerka thing, right? Like I'm not gonna say that like like she gets to speak publicly on like his like Zherka's like 1,200 viewer stream or whatever the fuck Zherka's thing is, and then like he doesn't get to talk about it. Like that wouldn't be fair, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that he shouldn't be allowed to talk about it. I'm just saying this is blowing up, and like the more people that start circle jerking about this, the more measurable harm it's going to cause to this
No,
person.
I don't disagree on that, but here's the problem, okay? And I think you know the answer to this, is that I say this in a weird way, but like actions have consequences to a certain extent. Like when someone does something bad or stupid or pokes a bear with like these like this type of situation and brings shit up and tries to get the whole fucking world, and you call someone an abuser in front of everyone else because they stopped talking to you, when that happens, bad things kind of come back to you. Now I'm going to say kind of a train wreck thing here for a second. Reverse the roles, Drew. How would you be feeling in this situation here? Okay, and let's really reverse it. Okay, let's have Steven be a petite little 5'4" girl. Okay, let's have Anna be a 300-pound muscular dude with a big beard. How do things look at this situation, in your opinion?
How do things look in this situation? I'm trying
Yeah.
to. Do you, okay, so I'm trying to figure out this exactly. Do you mean that now Anna is the gigantic streamer with the huge
No.
audience?
Everything is the same except that Anna is a big guy and Steve is a little woman.
And then the same behaviors occurred and all that?
Yep, exactly. And the girl just kind of stops talking to the guy. Sometimes he talks, but not really, and lets him on. The guy keeps messaging over and over and over and over and over again, keeps talking about him on every panel show that he has. The other guy hasn't said anything public about it. How do you feel that would be treated publicly?
It might be treated differently because of the way that people view men and women, but I mean, like, I still.
Do you think might or 100% it would be a fucking scandal? That person wouldn't be on Twitch anymore.
You mean the guy streamer, like the smaller guy?
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking.
Right? No?
Listen. Okay.
I'm trying to. To be.
No, it's fine. I'm saying
trying to follow you.
if Anna was like a fucking huge dude that was harassing some female streamer, okay, and the female streamer talked occasionally but kept fucking messaging on every platform, gets blocked, messages somewhere else, gets blocked, message somewhere else, gets blocked, okay, and then every time they go on Twitch live, they're talking about the other person and saying they're abusive. How do you think that would be treated from people on Twitch? Do you think
Okay,
like, oh, well, they're in a bad space, or like, holy shit, this person needs to be removed from Twitch?
So, well, there's. Okay, so the problem is you're loading a lot of stuff into this. Is the
Well, I
issue,
mean,
right?
I switched the roles pretty much. Not
Well,
too much
no,
else.
it's not just switching the roles. You're not talking about like, fuck, dude. Okay, so the reason I'm hesitating here is because the more we get into this, the more it's going to blow up, and then the more it's going to get, and the more this is going to cause a problem for people.
But there is no end to it, Drew. Like, I didn't say anything for a long time because Steve asked me to, but it
Right,
kept
yeah.
coming up, and it's like, do we just sit here and get fucked forever with no response?
I
with
mean,
no, what do you do?
No, I understand, and I think it's frustrating for me because like I was talking to Anna earlier, right, and it seemed like she was like kind of like, okay, you know what, like seemed like she was kind of like, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna get what I need to get out of this situation, so it's possible I just need to like figure out to find a way to move on or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great. I think that's awesome and stuff like that. And I'm talking to her about this, and then like, so she seemed like she was like upset last night or whatever, and she seemed like she was good today and kind of like moving on from it and stuff. And then it seems like, and now I get on here like she's kind of moving past it, and now it's all blowing up again, and now it's just gonna just feed the cycle again. And I'm like, okay, so how do we stop this feedback? Because like obviously Steven wants this to stop just as much as she does, right? Because this is not something
No,
he wants to.
no.
Well, she's still
No.
bringing it up in Zherka's chat, right? So it's not like she's actually like moved on like she said she would.
When is she? Wait, what do you mean she's bringing up in Zherka's chat right
She
now?
was like just like an hour ago at least.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, well, she does. There you go. That's the answer.
Yeah, well, look, I don't know what the
You
fuck
keep-
goes on in Zherka's show. I don't know.
You don't need to know that. She's bringing it up still today.
Yeah, she's still
Okay,
tweeting about
okay.
it apparently. But I
Like-
mean, to go back to what Dan was saying again, even if you look at it from like the thought of like a larger female streamer, right, who is continuously getting harassed by this smaller male streamer, right? And he's continuously messaging her, just like Dan said, continuously accusing her of different things every time he goes on a panel. And these things are things that could possibly cause her to be not only isolated from the community, but cause her like actual distress, right?
Okay.
I think anybody else would look at that guy and see that this is abusive behavior, see that it's harassment, and would not want him on the platform, right?
So yeah.
And nobody
Okay.
here is even advocating for not having her on the platform. We're just
Yeah.
advocating
Yeah. I
for her to
understand.
not bring it up.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
understand that.
very
Just
sexist on our part, like unironically.
I need to say one really quick thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
just for people in chat, y'all, I'm not a therapist, okay? I'm training to be a counselor. Just like I feel I'm like ethically obligated to say that I'm not licensed at this point and I'm not a therapist. So like I'm training to be a counselor, but like that's not technically right. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, okay? I'm training to be a counselor, okay? Which is what people think of colloquially as a therapist, but I'm not actually that yet, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so and okay, so let me just okay, so if I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring it back. I just like I had to say that for ethical reasons. Okay. Um if we're talking about all this, my desire is to try to find a way to get this to end. Okay? I want this to end for everybody's
Okay, so here's the problem. I'm 100% with you there.
okay.
100%. Okay, but there's two problems we have, maybe more. Let me get to the big
Okay.
problems. Okay, number one, it's been a quiet year for the most part on this front. There's been
Yeah,
a few,
yeah.
few,
Just
a
a
few,
couple slip ups here and there, yeah.
a few boil ups.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but what happens is it almost seems like there's nothing. It's quiet, manic episode, tweeting about Steve like crazy. Okay.
Okay, so so what I'm gonna set the manic. I don't know what that means. I just I do see the trend that you're talking about where it's really quiet and then all of a sudden I see tweets about it again, right? I don't know
Yes.
I don't know what's causing that. I don't know if it's
But
from
this isn't a good enough answer though, Drew. Right? Saying like, oh, oh geez, I do see that sometimes. Like that's a huge fucking problem. Okay? Like that's like if we like agree, like listen, let's just fuck off. This is not working. You go your way, I go my way. You don't get to be so like downplaying that. The fact that like one person is like publicly announcing to the world like if you go read some of that shit, it wasn't tame like man I'm glad I'm not with Steve anymore or something. That would be tame. This is like I was thinking about today and yeah, boy was he fucking abusive to me. Like this is like shit. This is fucked up shit, and I don't think most people would say this was abusive to be a first place. So this is a word that's getting thrown around very aggressively. Like this is a fucking thing I hate. And my wife, by the way, has a doctorate in psychology, and I tell her this shit, and she thinks she says is the words trauma get fucking thrown around for fucking anything. It's like,
I
oh
agree.
man,
Yeah, I agree.
oh he was silent. Oh, I have a trauma. It's just like, listen, the break is not going to happen from her side is the problem because we've been here, right? We've been here
Yeah.
and no one, and he didn't say anything. He banned you in his chat if you even brought her up, but she kept poking the bear. Poke.
So the only thing I would say it's hard for me to know about. So there's details that like I just am not privy to that make this thing like slightly more complicated. Like the fact that for a long time like I said, this has been really quiet for. I had no idea that they were talking again until like that just came out on stream a few weeks after.
Same.
So like
It all blew up.
so I don't know what any of that constitutes. I don't know why I don't know the origins of why all of a sudden things start getting tweeted again. I don't know what upsets her. I don't know if it's
Well, my hunch is this, and this is Steve's fault, okay, is I think that because Steve is a fucking horny moron, okay, like is one of his like most embarrassing, like I'm embarrassed to be friends with this guy quality is that he is so fucking like horny, like a 10-year-old. Like you could take this kid for everything he's worth if you had a fucking pair of tits and blonde hair. I shit you not. Okay. But because of this, he kept engaging Anna. And I don't know why he would do that. He's literally brain dead for doing that. So that part's on him. Okay. And I can't excuse that behavior that they continue to talk. Now he tells me, okay, that essentially it's like, um, that he was thought this was a better way, that they could like fucking go and you know make nice with each other or whatever, right? But like,
Mhm.
it just it doesn't work. I don't understand what you can possibly do, at this point with things
I
along those
I
lines, right?
I have no idea. Like I said, I just
Like
I, I
he was unironically. Well, this is what he says, but this I
I
almost
have
believe
no
in on
idea.
that.
I don't know Steven well enough to know what he means or like if he's being serious about. I don't know. I'm not friends with him, right?
Well, no, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that Anna is telling 100% the truth on everything to do with Steve continuing to message her about, not safe for work stuff. But like, that's like a big fuck up on the both of them. I mean, but I mean, listen, I told them to end this shit early on. I sensed it. But now that it's gotten to this fucking toxic point, I don't know what happens. Genuinely,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I agree, and that's my concern because like where we were a year ago was really bad, and I don't want it to be where we were a year ago again. I don't know what the way forward is, but it certainly doesn't seem like just like restarting everything, and now we're just gonna run it another year, and we're gonna get another year of this. Like that doesn't seem like I don't I I literally all I want, and I'm being dead serious. I want Anna to be okay, and I want Steven to be okay. And if that means very separate, then that's whatever, right? I want the most peaceful possible resolution out of this that we can get. And I just don't know how to get there. I just don't think that what's going on right now is going to get us there. I think this is going to get us to a worse place, not a better place. And
Yeah, no,
I
I
I don't
agree.
yeah,
I honestly think I at this point it seems like Anna is incapable of letting this go. Um, like
I don't
just
know.
physically and mentally incapable of it. And I don't know what the solution is. I mean, I think most people know to not put a spotlight on that, but Zherka um, uh, does not, I guess, play by those rules, right? To not put a spotlight on this drama. So when she goes on to Zherka, and Zherka knows to prod her on this,
Got it. Yeah, and like
yeah,
upset her and stuff.
and she's gonna bring it up regardless, right? It's just how often she brings it up, and I don't know. It just doesn't communicate that this person is well, and it makes me think that this guy is taking advantage of her, especially to make her even more unwell and make her even more upset. And I don't know. I am concerned that somebody is taking advantage of it like this. You
You mean
know?
like Zerka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Zerka. Honestly, I've been sort of resisting watching it because it's personally painful for me to see people upset
It's
like that. So
so here's the thing, okay? And I don't mean to like pat myself on the back. Okay, I know you're probably not the biggest fan. When I was on stream with Anna, okay, I grant you I wasn't there doing therapy, okay? That was somewhat of a comedic affair, okay?
yeah,
But
yeah,
this is fucking next level to that shit, okay? Like I did funny fucking sound bites, and for the most part we actually almost had a resolution there, okay? But this was a lot more than that.
you mean
Okay, you're
Zerka,
right.
like what Zerka did?
Well, if you should probably go watch it and get an understanding of what happened, but it was definitely a painful, it was a painful thing to watch, certainly.
Okay, yeah, okay. Do you, okay, fuck. I mean, I I'm searching for a way forward that doesn't involve everybody screaming and yelling and crying and stuff. I don't know what that way forward looks like. And yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I think maybe does she have anybody like physically close to her who's around her who can take the place of I don't like that Zerka is taking advantage of this. And if she's truly incapable, from what it seems like to me, is that it seems like she's incapable of moving on, mentally and physically and just in every sense of the way moving on. She has to keep bringing it up, right? If she is that incapable of that, it has no agency in that, I feel like that there should be like physical people around her or something to give her the support she needs instead of her going to these people who are using her for content.
Well, so from what I understand, she's got support in real life and stuff like that. It's just I I like I said, I mean, if it's the case that Zerka tried to throw this, I haven't seen that. I'll take y'all's word for it because I at least trust uh, Stardust, and I at least trust the way Dan's trying to act in this conversation because he seems like he just wants this to end too. To
Wait,
be fair,
I want to listen. I had fun on the first call, okay, but I had no idea it was like this. You have to understand, Drew. Here was my knowledge kind of going in on the first call was that Destiny has some fucking crazy ex-girlfriend, and we're gonna get to hear him duke it out on stream, and I'm gonna get to meme it up, and that was fun to do. Okay, and I stand by that call and what fucking happened there because I had no context. That was the first time any of us had ever talked to that person. I would never do that shit again because I genuinely now it's past the point of memes to like, okay, this shit is actually real talk.
yeah,
This is the
worried
real
about.
fucking deal. What's going on here? There's some fucking marbles. Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it's not a meme, right? And at this point, and like, regardless of which side you're taking on this, it's serious. So, um, it's not something to like joke about and like and that kind of stuff. And my concern is that that's where we're gonna get whipped up again too, is like this like weird like small space on the internet on Twitch. It's gonna get whipped up into that again, and I think that that's gonna be bad for everybody involved. But I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, like y'all are saying, I guess Zerka egged this on. I don't know Zerka. I don't know.
Well, I'm not saying anything along the front. I think you should watch it and figure it out for yourself how you feel.
Okay.
But like, as far as this stuff goes, you can't stem. You can't stop the fucking tide from coming in, man. And with this shit, with the amount of like number one on LSF, be thankful it's fucking Stardust watching this shit and not fucking XQC. Okay, because
I
it
mean,
could,
yeah. I mean, fair enough.
right?
I get that, but like, it still sucks, right?
Yeah, but
Uh,
what can you do in this situation? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what?
I
Yeah,
think.
so somebody brings up a really good point that if it
Okay.
is the case that Anna is completely incapable of not speaking about Steven, the protection that he does have because she is somebody he can't control. He can't tell her what to say. She can't even control herself in what she can say. The only protection that he has is his videos, right? And I think it's fair that we're allowed to watch them because he can't be here constantly defending himself,
Yeah, I understand that
especially
though.
yeah.
Well, and like, I mean, I'm sure Destiny feels fucking trapped where like he doesn't feel like he has a responsible way to respond to this because of the thing that I'm referring to, where like there's going to be like some not unmeasurable portion of his audience that it's probably not a large part, but it's enough to make her feel like she's getting constantly thrashed by people. Like it's just, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just sort of coming in here worried about the way this is going to go and the worse it's going to get. And I think that it would be better as a community if we would try to do our best to make the drama die again rather than trying to bring it back up again. But
No,
I don't.
I understand that, and I think most people would agree. Oh, we'd love this shit to go away, but the
Yeah,
problem is it's not fair to Steve when it's only one person consistently bringing it up every time, right? It wasn't Steve going on to someone else's
Zerka.
panel
Yeah,
show to talk about this. It's constantly. I hate to say it, but and I don't know what happens in their private conversations,
yeah. I
but
have no
it's
idea.
but it's always Anna bringing this up publicly every time. It's never been Steve that says anything about her. So it's like, what the fuck can anyone do in this circumstance? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the Zerka thing, if it's been as it's presented, it sounds bad, and it sounds like that's kind of what headed all this off. I just, I want to get this to the downslope rather than the upswing, I guess is what I'm saying. And I've said that a lot, but I don't know
Yeah.
what the way forward is for that.
I
Obviously, if Zerka's gonna like enable it or like try, like if that's actually
He
what
puts
happened,
a
I don't want to be
spotlight
on.
on it, but she
Yeah.
says it all the same. The
Okay.
only difference is that Zerka puts a spotlight on it and he might prod it out of her just a little bit more. But she says it all the same, and she I don't know. I really do think if she's incapable, if they've agreed so many times, like they agreed 3 times that night to not talk about each other, to cut off all contact, and she still brought him up whenever he left, right? She would still bring him up, and then she would justify it despite the fact that they made this agreement. I think that that shows that something is not right. And I'm not a medical professional that can really make a diagnosis on people, but to me, that looks like it's there's something that's actually wrong, right? There's something that's actually wrong, and she needs like intervention or help in person if she's still this upset about this.
The other thought I have too is if there's no, let's say in a perfect world that all this happened and then no one talks about it, okay?
Yeah.
Um, is that good for someone to have zero negative consequences when they do behavior? Like, again, I'm not a psychologist, so I have no idea. But I would assume that if someone has no pushback when they do something bad, that they're going to do it again. That if you put your hand on the hot plate, you need to feel the burn. Is that not the case here, or what? Like, because I mean, if she did all this and all she did, like, she had 70 viewers playing a video game today. Okay, why? Yeah. Is all of a sudden everyone super interested in Anna Frill's fucking Witcher 3 gameplay, or is there something else more nefarious afoot, in your opinion? Okay, so that's
like are you like implying she's trying to get more viewers for this?
No, I'm not saying that's the case, but it's certainly reinforcing a negative outcome here, right? Because what happened is that she went and she did this whole this thing, and now she's rewarded for it to a certain extent, right? She has more viewers. Yeah, I mean, so that's a problem to me. I think, and
well, I mean, just on the viewer front, like when this stuff does get whipped up a little bit, there are some more people under stream for sure, right? But the truth is,
you know that most of the people, and I'm sorry to interrupt here, but do you know that most of the people, so before Anna was in the orbit of anyone, I don't think she even streamed, did she? Do you know?
I actually have no idea. I met her after this had kicked off.
I don't think she did. Okay. And my understanding is that every single person, for the most part, that she associates with is like someone that was in Steven's orbit, which is just like, I don't know.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
well, like people that are, like people that she talks to, shows she gets onto. Like, why would you pick Zherka of all people? Like someone that's like friendly with Steve.
I mean, he invited her on, right?
Yeah, but I mean, well, we all know the reason along that front. But look, all I'm saying is that I'm asking you a question. If you do something bad, should there be a negative consequence to it or not?
I mean, yeah, I believe in consequences, sure, right?
Well, do you think that's the right outcome here or no? Again, asking
She brought
you as a
him up
counselor.
in stream today too, so just
Well, yeah. So,
context,
on her stream,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. When she was talking about it on stream, yeah, and she was talking a little bit about it, but it was a little different. It wasn't just like shit talking. It was a little bit of like some other. We don't need to get into that. It was not super important. It wasn't crazy.
Sure. So I'm just kind of asking though on this front here, like, so should there be negative consequences if you do something bad or not, in your opinion?
I mean, yeah, generally speaking, yeah.
So, do we want a negative consequence here?
My concern is just with the amount of consequence that's going to come from this. That's all I'm saying. Like, obviously consequences, like, right? That's not like, I don't think that people should not have consequences for their actions and stuff like that. It's just like,
obviously.
so like, let me put it this way. So like, if the consequences of any like misstep or whatever is like vastly different because we're talking about like on a public platform, and I'm not saying that just applies to Anna, to be clear. Like, I understand that like she's on a platform, and so consequences are different for Steven too, right? I'm not saying it's different for that. She's going to get a stream of shit heading her way that's very different than anything that could have happened like in like a regular context, and it's going to cause her like.
I'm not seeing it so far. I mean, yeah, most of Twitch thinks she's fucking bonkers. Okay, 90%, 95%, probably more than that. People think has some sort of personality disorder. Okay, like that just is. That's going to be the case that almost everyone thinks of her. But she's not like a professional Twitch streamer. She's becoming a psychologist. Like, but on Steve, for him, this is his job.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a major consequence for Steve, a kind of minor one for her. No.
I would say that would sort of predicated on the idea that people think that would like people would start like actually thinking that Steven has a problem in this situation. I think the vast majority of these people just discount anything Anna that comes out of Anna's mouth because they think she's nuts. I don't think that people will take her seriously.
No, I would agree with that, and I don't know. Again, maybe this is some insane mastermind plot by Steven that he's made. Someone that actually has a valid case look insane. But again, I'm deferring to Occam's razor here on that one. I don't think that that's the case. So we're kind of left with this what happens next position here to because we can't stop what has already happened.
Yeah,
All you can do is try to keep it from happening again. So how do we keep it from happening again? Me and
that's
you
yeah
together,
that
we can solve this.
let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's figure out what do you. Okay. I don't know. Like I'm like I always talk to her about this kind of like whenever I have the time. Always talking about her about this and stuff like that. It's just I know it's personally frustrating for her, and she feels like there's a lot of like stuff that she feels like is unfair that's said about her all the time that she can't address because it's just a sea of stuff that she can't overcome and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and that makes it difficult to move on from a situation that you feel is like sort of like this thing that's hanging over you all the time. Um, and that's really complicated because it's sort of like one of those things where you kind of just like have to accept things and move on, which can be really difficult. So
Yeah.
um,
And
yeah,
just to bring up one thing is that somebody in chat says you can go to JonZherkas chat and see hundreds of people saying Steve is abusive based on Anna's testimony. So I
I
mean,
didn't,
yeah,
I don't see. I'd happy to look at that if that's
Have you
that's
followed any of this stuff at all? I mean, do you understand like the claims and everything? And what I say about that is like, do you feel like I almost don't want to ask this because I'm fear of the fucking answer here, but do you feel like Steve is being abusive here? Because there might be like a
I
disconnect.
I so I'm
Don't
not gonna
you
say.
dare fucking not take a side, you motherfucker. Okay, that's the most
Wait.
weaselly thing a fucking counselor can do.
Wait. We counselors look at all sides, right? I would just no. I don't use. I would like. I don't use language like that typically, unless it's like how would I? So one of the rules that I had for our conversation when like me and Stephen and Anna talked for that one time was that we weren't going to use language like that because I think it's extremely unproductive and it
Mhm.
inflames things. So like I don't know everything that happened, but like I wouldn't be comfortable using that language unless I knew like of something like that was like extremely serious. I don't know. Like I would say like I wouldn't
Have
use
you
that.
heard anything? Have you heard anything so far that you think would be fairly called abuse?
Um, I I wouldn't like. I heard anything? Because
Man,
like,
I'm.
because I haven't.
I can hear the weasels churning. But yeah, go ahead. Have you heard
Okay,
anything?
wait. So just to be clear, I'm trying to answer as honestly as I possibly can. I just so like I
It's
don't
all
know
right.
what
I'm
the
putting you in a rock and a hard spot. Your friends are. Forget it. It's fine. It's fine.
no. It's just to be clear. I don't know what I don't. I've never looked at any of their private conversations, Dan. Like so, I literally don't. Like I've not like sifted through DMs and like
Mhm.
seen what they talk about. I have no fucking idea. My assumption is that this is like just a serious relationship conflict. Okay, like I'm not gonna like load it morally like that. I'm not comfortable doing that with the information I have right now.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So we're in this conundrum.
Yeah,
This is a conundrum that we have here. Okay. Now
it is. It
I would
is.
say that actually you have the most power of uh, of stopping this over anyone because you have the closest ties to Anna. Now I can control Steve because I've thought about this a little bit. Okay. I think me and Mr. Mooten together have already told Steve that this needs to stop. Okay. And if that means that we're going to stop coming on stream, if he doesn't stop, we'll do it. Okay. We will. We'll force him on our end to cut off all ties with Anna. The question is, what can you do on your side to also do that?
I mean, like, I mean, I'm always, like, I'm always comfortable talking to Anna about like trying to move on from this and stuff like that. But like, ultimately, she is her own person, right? I'm just like, I'm literally just a friend. Like, you, like, maybe like you can say it's in some way maybe I have a lot of I like the most control out of like the like supposed characters in the situation, but like it's I mean she is her own person. Like I have my own life. Like she makes her own decisions. Like I'm obviously like she can't control what the community thinks about her. Like I can't say that she's going to convince people because I don't think she'll ever convince anybody.
She'll for sure never convince anyone on Twitch of this stuff, but that doesn't mean that she can't continually do damage to Steven, because she absolutely
I
100%
look
can.
look I mean look I'm not going to pretend like I haven't told her that I think it would be better if things ended, right? Like and
Hmm.
like I wish things would end right, but like she's her own person, right? I can't like guarantee that another person will do this stuff, right?
Do you know any of her like friends or anything like that, or?
Her friends, I mean, like the only I only know her on through Twitch, like, and we,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like I don't know her IRL or anything
Oh,
like
wait,
that.
really? Oh,
No, no, no,
okay.
no. Like some people are under the impression that I go to school with her or something. No, like we just happened to meet online because I was watching Steven one day. Because contrary to common belief, I actually like watch Steven's stuff. But the I saw them talking about Anna. I didn't know what the context was, and I was like, "Oh, who the fuck is Anna?" First, and I looked it up, and I saw that she was in the same field as me or a similar field as me, and so I just started talking to her, and then we just started talking about psychology, and that's how we became friends. And then I found out about this afterwards. She was like, "Hey, can you
Hmm.
take a look at this? It's pretty fucking crazy." I was like, "Oh, sure."
Well, I don't know what to say, Drew, at this point. I feel like a lot of options have been exhausted here at this point, and I see my good buddy kind of really going through the shit as a result of it. And he says like, "Oh, I'm a man. I can, I can take it. I don't have feelings." But
Yes, he's the stone person that feels nothing. That can't.
yeah,
Yeah,
but of
I
course that
understand.
yeah, but that's bullshit. Of course he
Yeah,
does. He
I
feels.
understand. Yeah, I understand.
That's his armor, right? Where he says that like, "Oh, I'm a superhuman. I nothing bothers me on the internet." But of course that's not true.
Sure. Yeah, I
He
understand that.
cries, he's sad, right? So like, things like this are making him sad, and it hurts to see my buddy sad and get called an abuser in front of, thousands of people. Really, it grinds my gears, and I want it to stop.
Yeah,
And
I look, I want it to fucking stop too, man. Like I want, I want happy person over there, happy person over there, moving on, no one's getting harassed, that kind of thing. That's what I would like from the situation, but I only have so much control over it. Um, like if you're asking me to say that I'll like talk to her about it, like and say like, hey, let's figure this out, let's make this stop, so things are
mhm.
like obviously I want to talk to her and try to figure out how to move forward and not make this crazy, but I am also just a guy, right? Like literally like I have my own life outside of this and like
You
this
keep
is
saying that you have a life outside of Twitch, and I'm starting to get a little bit offended about it. Okay, so are you saying that us that are on Twitch like don't have lives or something?
no no no
Like,
no no
I
no
would
no no
just drop that line moving forward. Okay, let's not go and do the like, I have a life
no
outside of
it's I
Twitch.
just I just mean I don't I haven't kept up with all this like I can't constantly be like doing
What,
this like people
terminally online? Okay, go ahead. You
yeah
really?
people are just expecting me to like constantly be monitoring her and stuff which is like she's an adult like that's like this is her thing like I'm happy to support her as a friend and say like hey like I want like how can we end this or whatever like that, but like
Mhm.
ultimately it's like
Ultimately,
it's
it's
up
on
to
her,
her.
right?
Yeah, I mean like it literally is ultimately on her, right?
Now that I know that you don't know her in person, it kind of makes me rethink. I guess I don't know. I just don't know what the
I mean we've
solution
talked a
is.
lot, to be clear, like we've talked a lot.
Yeah.
It's just
Do you
like I
feel
don't know
like
if
you're
this
getting a lot of counseling experience as a result of this?
nice name.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I just and she's just a friend.
Okay.
Yeah. Um look if yeah, I just want things to end. Want things to be resolved. That's my only intention here, and that was my only intention with talking to you Stardust is just like how do we get this to not be even crazier?
Yeah, I mean, in the panel, I told, I mean, anytime I did say anything, I got muted. But
Wait,
the
why?
because he didn't like me de-escalating, I guess. I
Well,
would
that's
tell.
fucked. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's okay. It happens. I'm used to it. So yeah, I kept telling them, you guys, it just needs to fucking stop. You guys need to cut everything off. There's no there's no healthy friendship, there's no healthy relationship, there's no healthy anything with the two of you still talking, right? And I told Anna several times also, like, you are never going to get what you want out of this. You are not going to get closure. You have to give up on it. Like, it's not happening. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in de-escalation mode. I want things to de-escalate, but um, yeah, I mean, I can only do so much, I guess.
You're just a man at the end of the day.
I am just flesh and blood, Dan.
Hmm.
Yeah. Contrary to common belief, I'm I am just a guy who likes to talk to friends on the internet sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, Mr. Drew. I feel like there's no good answers here, and only pain and suffering for everyone involved.
I know, and I don't like pain and suffering. It's sad for me. I want people to get along. It's personally upsetting to me. I that's yeah. I don't know what to do, man. Like I feel so fucking cornered. I I've really enjoyed. I was really happy that things had started really dying down. When I heard that this had happened the other day, I was like, fuck, like this is gonna get really bad, and I'm worried about everybody involved. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. And I don't know. I guess my main concern, and I feel like I kind of put Stardust a little bit on the spot here. I don't think you're uniquely responsible for this, but like as soon as like people start watching, it's like, all right, we're spiraling up the drama again. We're getting the machine rolling again, and I'm just worried
Yeah.
about the fallout of that for people and what
Well, I mean,
happens in their lives and stuff.
well, it's not okay. So here's like the problem, right? So when we have these videos getting watched, and here's like the crux of the issue, right? Like you're not worried about Steve because these videos kind of vindicate him, right? Like so you're worried about the other side. So that's the problem. Is like this right now, this time, with all this stuff happening, this is Steve's vengeance, right? This is the truth saying. So he probably very much wants these. Well, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I would say
Yeah,
that
yeah,
probably most people who are fans of Steven probably want the quote their truth to be told. You know what I mean? Like enough of the lies. Let's hear it from this or something. So I would imagine that is where this is at right now. Is like now, okay, Anna, she had her shot and said all this stuff. Now let's hear what counterpunch now, right? So
yeah,
you're taking that away because she got to go in front of thousands of viewers and say Steve was an abuser and oh my god, this is a crying girl. Steven must be a fucking monster because she really cried on this show, by the way. It
I
wasn't like
heard. Yeah, I heard
it
it was
wasn't
really.
like a little cry. This was like a big cry. Okay, this was like saying that she wanted to kill herself, that she didn't want to live. Like this was serious fucking business cat shit.
Yeah,
And at the end of that is Steven, this fucking 5'4" man who caused this much pain with someone to this beautiful crying girl, and that's not a good look for anyone. It doesn't fucking matter. Okay, so that's like now it's like okay, people like Stardust are coming in here and say okay, well let's take a look see. Let's find out what's what.
mhm.
Let's get to the bottom of this. And if you take
What did Steven came on and talked for a bit, right? Did he like get on there and like say his piece about things were, like how things were, or whatever, on
he
He
stream?
tried,
actually
yeah.
got on and he even apologized. He apologized so many times to Anna, because that was what she said she wanted, right? She wanted him to take accountability. He apologized for things that he, like, honestly, you know, didn't feel like he was, didn't, he apologized for things that he didn't, essentially feel like he did, things that were unfounded, and that's really hard to do. That's really hard to do, to go and apologize for things that you know that you haven't done. So I mean, he did that several times, and she still brought him up.
Yeah, I don't know. I, fuck. Um, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, the obviously it's not a good idea to have Twitch panels talking about this, right? Like obviously
Well,
that's
I would agree with you with that. I
yeah,
mean,
obviously.
was all fine until that
Yeah,
happened.
it
You
was
know.
relatively fine. Yeah. Okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
don't get me wrong. I wanted to go away as well, and if I thought
Yeah.
the best way was just like everyone stop talking about it now and it'll be fine. I actually, now this might be a little bit quote unquote dark triad to say this. I think the best way right now for this to go away is so that there's a little bit of a lasting scar or memory with this shit that, oh yeah, when I fucking go on and say all this crazy shit about Steven, it's not all fucking roses and tea at the end of the day. Like, you know, I have to revisit some of the fucked up shit that I've done in the past as well. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the way forward is, which is the most frustrating part of this, because I don't know. I don't think drama is like fun as a viewer, but when you know the people involved, it actually gets pretty fucking upsetting.
I mean, honestly, if you look at the video from the other day, the panel video, and maybe it'll give you some insight, but I don't know. The panel video, it's not fun for anybody involved. I'm sure that Destiny definitely didn't even enjoy that, how much she was crying. Nobody likes seeing somebody in pain, right? Yeah. So, and it's like no matter what he does, everything he does is futile, right? So, yeah. I don't know. You might want to take a look at that, you know. And
I'm
see.
happy to look at it. It's just I had to study for a test and take a big test today, so I just haven't had time.
Mr. Big Shot with a life outside of Twitch. Right?
Yeah, I literally haven't had time to watch it.
Why didn't you have time to watch it, Drew?
I had to take a test.
I don't understand.
Wretch Dutter, do not be rude,
I'm
please.
so confused.
Okay.
I had to
Thank you.
I had to take a certification test. Okay, I actually had to study for it. I tried my best, but I couldn't see everything. It's too much drama on Twitch these days. It's too hard to keep up.
That's why the best answer to drama is to be a mid-30s man with nothing to lose and nothing to gain, because then you can just do whatever you want. Really, the bee's knees. I suggest it if you can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were gonna end up in like a relatively chill space after you were hanging out in Anna's chat the other day and y'all were memeing and like.
I was too, but that was before this, right? Dude, you know the effort I made there. To be clear.
Hey, look, I appreciate the fuck out of that. I understand that you were like, I get what you're doing. I appreciated that a lot, and it was funny and stuff, and I appreciated that. Like, I'm not trying to knock you for that. I think that was cool. I thought that was going to be the end of this, if I'm being honest.
But like, what can you do, man? Like, if this shit just, you know, you just keep poking. You keep poking. I can only take so much. You know, as you know, of course,
as they say,
inserting
right?
myself. Yeah. Obviously, me, I can take a lot, but yeah.
Man of stone as well, I see.
Yes. So. Well, that's that, I guess. I don't know where we lead from here. I guess Stardust, who is like a fucking thoughtless, cruel woman, will obviously continue to watch this fucking VOD because she only cares about viewers and doesn't give a shit about anyone else suffering. So
I deserve to burn in hell.
Well, it's either, there's only one of two options if you think about it. So either one, she'll keep watching, which means she's a thoughtless bitch, or two, she'll turn it off, which means she has no fucking morals or convictions and will roll over if any simp comes on here and fucking cries a storm. So I'm really curious to see what happens as a result, actually.
Do you think I'm a simp? Do you actually think that?
No, I was just trying to piss you off.
Okay.
Did it work? I bet a lot of people in chat do, though.
I think it's a little funny because it doesn't bother me. I was just curious if that was your actual opinion.
I think he did that more to bother people in
okay, yeah.
Who are probably there are going to be a couple of hate viewers, so
yeah,
that'd be good.
It's
I would never call someone a simp because I have always known that that's a terms of service violation.
Yeah, always, right.
We always call people shrimp here, actually. So
shrimp, is that the new thing for simp?
No, it just means you're a shrimp.
Just means you're. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Oh, hey, Drew.
What's
I got a thought for you. Do you have like a lot of like DMs and stuff like that, like on Discord, just with random people and whatnot?
Are you gonna sell me on Redact right now?
Have you heard of this really cool software called Redact.dev that lets you automatically go through all of your messages on Discord, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, anything you can possibly imagine in one click? Go and delete all those messages. And did I mention it's free? That's right, for the low price.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You just fucking threw me off my Billy Mays speech.
I'm sorry.
What is it? What did you want to say that's so fucking important? No, go ahead.
Your product really helped me. I before I used your product, I was losing my hair and I was really stressed out because I kept pulling my hair out because I had talked about my dad's dick all over the internet. I couldn't stop talking about my dad's dick. I just kept telling people about my dad's dick. I saw his dick one time.
Wow, I can't
And
wait to put this one on the fucking user
and
testimonial
yeah,
page.
and you know, and I used your product and it took all mentions of my dad's dick off of the internet. It was amazing. I used it for Facebook. I used it for Twitter. I used it for Discord. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'll put you right there on the home page. It'll be Stardust. I don't talk about my dad's dick at all anymore. Thanks, Redact.
Is there a catch, that Dan, or is it just that free? It's just that convenient.
No, that there is no catch. It's free. I mean, well, the catch is in the future when we launch mobile apps. We're gonna get you with some upsells for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's fair. You're creating a pretty cool product, right?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Hey, man, I'm a capitalist. I get it. Like, it's cool. You're providing a
Good.
free service. Eventually, you'll monetize it. That's cool.
All right. Well, I think that's the end of this. I am going to be watching from the sidelines to see what Stardust does. What about you, Drew? Are you going to be watching also? Very interested in what it is going to be? Heartless bitch or spineless coward? God, I can't wait to see what happens.
I just want to say, whatever Stardust chooses to do, she could never make me think she's a bitch, okay?
Well, I'm going to be judging her one way or the other for sure.
Okay.
All right.
All right. It's
Later,
nice to
everyone.
meet you, Dan. We'll talk later. Hopefully this ends. See you, buddy.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Good luck,
Bye.
Stardust.
Bye. Thanks for joining.
Don't
All right.
choose wrong.
See you. All right.
Yeah, if you want to talk again after, like, watching through the thing, or, just
It's fine. I mean,
your
I
thoughts
just
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I would just encourage people to remember this is a person before you start going to her and start
Yeah.
talking. Like obviously, like it's her pride. This is your stream. You do whatever you want. Like I just be careful, people. Don't she's a person. Chill the fuck out. Like, I understand you'll have opinions about her. Like, I'm not trying to argue out of that. Just remember that, like, there's another person at the end of Twitter, all right? But yeah,
Everybody should remember that. Yep.
yeah, just keep that in mind, all right? I'll hang out. I'll see what you do, and yeah, I'll call you out if you do anything
You
wrong or
know who
whatever.
was
But
also a person?
Steven?
Hitler. Hitler was a
Oh,
person.
facts.
Yeah.
You know what? You got me. I'm truly an alt-righter secretly, apparently. Hitler is also a person, unfortunately. Okay. All right. Well, you have a good night. Be chill, everybody. Enjoy, I guess, and enjoy the stream. And yeah, well, maybe we'll talk another time. I appreciate you bringing me on so I can
Yeah, of
try to
course.
sort things out. Okay.
Of course, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hope everybody's well.
Bye.
Good night.